Today I'm going to show you how to build your vocabulary because we're going to look at 12 nouns that can also be used as verbs. What? Amazing. Let's get going, guys. Number one, address. Address. As a noun, we know it to be the location of something. So what's your address means what's the location of your home or office or whatever. Now, as a verb, it changes meaning. So it can mean two things. It can mean to speak to a group. You address an audience, maybe as part of a speech, or it could be to deal with an issue or a problem. So let's use two example sentences. Michelle Obama addressed the crowd. That means she spoke to the crowd. She spoke to the audience. We need to address the problem of climate change. We need to address the problem of climate change. There, it means we need to deal with the problem of climate change. So, two different meanings as a verb. Brilliant. All right, let's get to number two. Bank. Okay, now as a noun, it's the institution that holds money. Bank as a verb has several different meanings. The first could be the act of keeping money somewhere. So I could say I bank with HSBC. I bank with HSBC, and that means I use their banking services. Another meaning of bank is when an aeroplane turns and the wings, one wing goes higher than the other and it kind of turns around. That is to bank. So the plane banked sharply. The plane banked sharply means it turned around sharply. So two meanings there for one verb. Number three, phone. As a noun, we know it's the thing that you call someone on, and as a verb, it means to call. It's exactly the same. So I'm going to phone my sister. I'm going to phone my sister means I'm going to call my sister. So phone can mean call. It's a regular past tense. So phone, phoned, phoned. Time, time. Now, as a noun, we know what time is, right? As a verb, it has different meanings. The first meaning, we can measure the time that something takes. So when I'm boiling an egg, I time it, yeah? So I make sure that it's 5 minutes long. 5 minutes to boil my egg, so I'm gonna time it. I'm gonna measure the amount of time it takes to happen. You can time a running race as well. Let's say you go for a jog, and you want to see how long it takes for you to do that jog, you could time yourself. Another meaning is to plan or arrange for when something happens. So, I'm going to time my holidays for the summer. I'm going to time my holidays for the summer, when the weather is best in Britain. So you make sure something happens when you want it to happen. All right, next one, water. Water as a noun, we know is the liquid. As a verb, water means to add water to something to keep it alive. So usually plants, I would suggest. Let's say you've got a new plant and you want to keep it healthy. You water it every day or every week, whatever it might be. So to water is also a verb. Very similarly, garden. So a garden as a noun is the outdoor area of your house. But when we're talking about to garden, the verb, it means to look after your garden. So to plant new flowers, to water them, to look after them, to garden. Example sentence, my grandmother loved to garden. My grandmother loved to garden. The next one, toast. Toast. So as a noun, we know it to be bread that's been heated and turned sort of golden and crispy. But as a verb, it's the process of doing this. So of putting the bread into the toaster and then toasting it. So example sentence, I'm going to toast some crumpets. Do you want some? I'm going to toast some crumpets. Do you want some? Okay, next one, man. Man as a verb? Huh, interesting. Okay, as a noun, yes. As a verb, man means to run or to operate something. So, for example, we need someone to man the door tonight. We need someone to man the door tonight. It's the door to a nightclub, right? Now, it has to be said that in this day and age, we're trying to find other words to replace man, because in that context, we need someone to man the door, the nightclub door. A woman could do that, right? Absolutely. They could be the bouncer in a nightclub. So we're looking for other words instead of man now. For example, staff. So we need someone to staff the door tonight. That could be used. Or to run the door. We need someone to run the door tonight. So instead of using man, we're trying to find other words to replace it because it's perhaps a little bit old-fashioned. But saying that, you are going to hear it still used. So it's important to know. Next one, number. Number. Number as a noun, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number as a verb means you give numbers to a group of things. So let's say I take my school kids on a trip, then I'm going to give each child a number so that when we are in different places, I can check to see if we have everyone. So I'm going to number each child. I'm going to give them a number. So Paul, you're number 1, Sally, you're number 2, etc. So to number something. Next one, fish. Fish. As a noun, the thing that swims in the sea. As a verb, it means to try and catch the thing that swims in the sea. So you'll see lots of people by rivers and lakes and in the sea fishing, right? So the verb is to fish. Example sentence, I used to fish with my dad every weekend. I used to fish with my dad every weekend. Next one, back. Back. All right, as a noun, you're back. But as a verb, it's more metaphorical. It means to support something. So you might back a politician or a political party. You might back a horse in a race. So example sentence, I'm backing Labour in the elections. I'm backing Labour in the elections. That means I'm supporting Labour in the elections. And finally, colour. Colour. As a noun, blue, red, yellow, whatever. As a verb, it means to add colour to something. So if you've drawn a picture, you might want to colour it in. You colour it. You add colour to the picture, to colour something. Okay, so those are 12 nouns that can also be used as verbs. Super useful. Now we've boosted our vocabulary. We've got twice as many words in our vocabulary bank as we did before. Fantastic. Those are not the only nouns that can be used as verbs. There are many others. What I suggest is you Google it. And in fact, that's another example. Google is a company, but it can also be used as a verb to talk about searching online for something, to Google something. So as you can see, English language is always evolving and these nouns become verbs, you know, just like that. It's amazing. So keep your eyes open and keep trying to build up your vocabulary. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Give this a big thumbs up, share it with anyone you know that's trying to learn English. And until next time, this is Tom, the Chief Dreamer, saying goodbye.